on the more than 261 million pesos worth of contracts between Calida Security Agency and government agencies. His office now defending itself after a commission and audit report showed that some of its officials, including Calida, received excessive honoraria and allowances in 2017, amounting to over 10.77 million pesos. Based on the report, COA says Calida and 14 of his subordinates received allowances more than the allowed 50% of their annual salary. COA says out of that 10.77 million pesos in excess allowances, Calida received 7.46 million pesos. That's 8 times more than allowed. Aside from this, COA says some OSG personnel had excessive claims on hotel accommodations and expenses for their local and foreign travels. But in a statement, the Office of the Solicitor General, or OSG, says the COA report has no basis. The office cites provisions authorizing its lawyers, quote, to receive allowances for the legal services they render without qualification as to the number of agreements with client agencies and without limitation or cap as to the amount. The office also points out that COA based its report on an administrative circular limiting the allowances to 50% of an OSG lawyer's salary. But the OSG emphasizes a circular cannot prevail over and cannot amend or repeal a law. For the alleged excessive claims of officials for their local and foreign travel allowances, the OSG says these are unutilized cash advances and had already been refunded upon liquidation within the first quarter of 2018. The country has a new batch of lawyers. More than 1,000 successful bar examinees took their oath today. Justices, in their speeches, urged them to always uphold the rule of law, but cautions on criticizing court decisions. Our justice correspondent Anjo Alimario filed this report.
The country gains more than 1,700 new lawyers who took their oath during a special en banc session presided by Supreme Court Acting Chief Justice Antonio Carpio. There's no mention of former Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno or about her co-warranto case, but some justices remind new lawyers about humility and avoiding arrogance lest they fall. In her speech, Associate Justice Teresita Leonardo Decastro discusses the rule against discussing the merits of a pending case in public. This is a veiled reference to the decision that ousted Sereno as Chief Justice. The court ordered Sereno to explain her possible violation of the so-called sub judice rule when she discussed her co-warranto case in public. Decastro says the judiciary does not operate courts of public opinion. She says when lawyers obtain authority without real effort, they tend to be blinded by power and intoxicated by the perks and privileges attached to the position. And she warns new lawyers, those who rise too fast often fall just as quickly.
If you lose your case on the merits fair and square, own up to it. Don't blame others and don't prop up your bruised ego at the expense of your colleagues' hard-earned reputation.
Justice Hardilesa also issues the same reminder to new lawyers: never let success get into your head and don't spoil your success with arrogance.
The arrogant always fall. They always get their comeuppance.
Justice Lucas Bersamin says when unreasonable resenters and intolerant skeptics exceed boundaries of propriety, they directly threaten the courts.
I am not in the least hinting that you cannot criticize the Supreme Court or the lower courts. But we must agree at least that the right to speak in criticism cannot be unbounded.
Bersamin says when disrespect for courts and their decisions becomes rampant, lawlessness and disorder may tear the nation's moral fabric. Anjali Mario, CNN Philippines.
The Philippine Identification System Bill now just awaiting the signature of President Duterte. Once a law, all Filipinos can get a unified ID